Sinister characters subverge around a young man devoted to protecting those he loves in a post-war backwoods town teeming with corruption and brutality. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with a brand new Netflix review. This time is for the new psychological thriller, The Devil All the Time, which had the internet going crazy when it saw this cast when they premiered the trailer last month. Very excited to let you all know what I thought about this movie and if you should check it out when it's available on Netflix September 16th in this non-spoiler review. Before we dive into the details, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you follow me on all my other social media accounts. That way you can stay up to date with what's going on over here at Movie Files. If you are new to this channel, definitely welcome. Hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that bell so you don't miss any of those new videos that I put out. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, let me know your excitement level for this film. Let me know once you've seen the movie if you liked it, if you didn't like it, some of your favorite performances. If you read the novel, which is a good adaptation, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's have some great discussions in the comments down there. So like I said, this trailer dropped about a month and a half ago, and when everyone saw that cast, saw the Robert Pattinson scene, it was just like everyone was very excited, including myself, because this cast looks great. It kind of reminded me of like a Coen Brothers film mixed in with a little bit of The Place Behind the Pines. So I was very excited to check it out, and kudos to Netflix for allowing me to check this out early. But let's start off with the positives, starting off with this cast, which again, Netflix, say what you will about their movies and some of the hits, some of the misses, but man, the last few months for me, whether it be the Five Bloods cast, whether it be most recently Enola Holmes, in this cast, I mean, they know how to put a cast together for these Netflix films. And this, I mean, you guys can see it in the description, but I mean, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Riley Keough, Jason Clarke, you have Sebastian Stan, Haley Bennett, Eliza Stanton, I mean, Robert Pattinson. This cast goes on, and these are some of these people in this cast are some of my favorite actors, especially new up-and-coming actors and actors that have been known for one thing, but then they are much better than what people might think them as. I'm talking about Robert Pattinson. I'm talking about Tom Holland, who only see them as the Twilight guy and Spider-Man. These are great actors. So I'm going to start off there, starting off with some of the more smaller role supporting characters, like, for example, Mia Wasikowska as Helen. Small role, but important role. And that's something I want to commend this cast as a whole, as well as the casting director, as well as the director and writer. Even though some people have smaller roles in this film, I felt that their characters were very prevalent and important to this story that is very bleak, very dark, and very violent, to say the least, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I think of a character like her, Haley Bennett, who I'm a big fan of. I thought she was fantastic. Eliza Stanton, whether it be the Sharp Objects on HBO miniseries, whether it be Little Women last year, she is a fantastic up-and-coming actress, and she is just, I always feel bad for her. Whatever movie she's in, maybe not so much Sharp Objects without getting into that TV show, but, you know, Little Women with Amy, and then her in this film, she is just great in this role. And it's just those smaller roles. Sebastian Stan, who, fun fact, Sebastian Stan was actually, his character was supposed to be casted by Chris Evans, but due to scheduling conflicts, Chris Evans recommended his buddy Bucky to get this role. But I thought he was fantastic in this movie. Think of Jason Clarke, Riley Keough, who, man, I am such a fan of hers. And even though she didn't get the most to do, she was still very integral to the story. And then for me, the standouts, Robert Pattinson, I'll say it once, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million more times. He is more than Twilight, guys. Add this to the resume for The Rover, Good Time, Lighthouse, I mean, so on and so forth. This guy just continuously proves that he is an actor's actor. He is a fantastic actor. And even though he's kind of more involved in the second half of this film, you hate him in a good way, meaning that his performance is incredible as this sleazy, disgusting preacher in this new town. And he steals the scenes when he's involved. I mean, he's fantastic in this movie. I think of this film, another film last year on Netflix, The King, with him and Timothée Chalamet. I mean, this guy is just fantastic. I love when he puts on these accents. I thought Robert Pattinson was fantastic. He stood out to me. Bill Skarsgård, he was fantastic. He was the lead of this film for literally like 40 to 45 minutes in this movie. He's the Willard, Tom Holland's father, who goes off to the war and sees some horrific things that just haunts him for the rest of his life. And he kind of carries that trauma into his everyday life with his wife and his kid, Tom Holland. And I thought Bill Skarsgård was fantastic. But the other person that stood out to me was Tom Holland. He doesn't come into the film till later on, but he is the lead for the second half of the movie. And seeing him, Alvin, his relationship with Eliza's character, and his relationship with his mother and his dad, and I mean, all the stuff that he went through, and the performance that he gives. Again, for those that just see Peter Parker, I didn't see Peter Parker, and I've been a fan of Tom Holland since Impossible. Since The Lost World Z, seeing him in just so many other roles. I know that he's more than Peter Parker, but he shows it in this film, and this makes me so much more excited for his film later on this year, Cherry, with the Russo brothers. Fantastic actor. He gives you, you see a little bit of that heroism in this particular role, but you also see a little bit of a darker side, and I love how the story kind of lets you into this backwoods town, how your parents' demons can haunt you, and how you can repeat their mistakes, and just the journey that we're on with Tom Holland was just fantastic. So again, the cast was really well done. This is my first time coming across an Antonio Campos film. The director, I know he's directed some TV episodes, like a couple episodes of The Sinner, The Punisher, and this was a direction type of job that makes me want to go back and revisit some of his earlier work. It makes me more excited for what he has to come, because the way he puts the pieces together, like I said, this reminded me of kind of like a Tarantino film, where you have these different characters, all different areas in different counties, but they all somehow have a connection, and everything kind of comes together as the film kind of unfolds. And I love how Antonio kind of gave us that direction, and also I love that we were kind of immersed into the 50s. We're immersed in this post, or this era where we're kind of entering Vietnam, and there's some financial issues with people in this back town. There's this really religious tone, and everyone involved, whether they are a believer of God or not, that they're somehow connected to the Bible. And you're seeing how people can be fanatics, and how they take it to the next level in regards to their religion and their beliefs, and what they're willing to do to show you that they are committed to God. So I thought the way that the story was told, the script was really well done. And again, Antonio Campos did a great job of directing this incredible cast and really telling a really interesting, dark, very brutal, very violent film, which is not necessarily say it's a positive or negative, but I was just very kind of immersed in this world, and very caught off guard by the brutality of this film. So I will warn you all, first off, if you are religious, you might not, some things might not sit with you well, particularly, and not that the film is saying it's right to believe in God or not, but some people might be turned off by that. But I will warn you all, this is a very violent, very dark, very bleak film, to say the least. Transitioning into some of my criticism with this movie, I mentioned that there's it's a great cast. When you have a cast like this, from Jump Street that not everyone's going to get as much screen time as you may want them to be on the screen, and that was fine. I will say there were two storylines that worked within this film, but I wish they were more fleshed out and more developed. I think of Riley Keough and Jason Clarke's story. I won't get into how they're involved, but they're a couple. They're dark, they're sinister, they're twisted. Their story really didn't feel as organic in the main storyline. It all comes together, but it didn't feel as natural to me as the other storylines came together. And I mentioned Sebastian Stan, great actor. He was really great in this role as the kind of corrupt cop in this movie. But with his side story, him being elected, him being, taking advantage of certain situations, trying to get one over of certain corrupt people in town, that storyline, whenever we went there, just kind of didn't, again, kind of like the Riley Keough and Jason Clarke, didn't feel as organic to the story as I thought it should have, and it should have been a little bit more fleshed out. And I will say another thing that I liked about this film has nothing to do with, has to go with this review. There's a narration going on in this film that at first didn't work for me, but as the film kind of went on, it kind of helped kind of immerse you in the feelings of the character's head and when their mindset is. And I thought it was really cool that the writer of the book was the narrator. So I thought that was really cool for the, the director and the writers to bring him on. So minus those two storylines that didn't work for me, there is, a little bit of pacing here and there because we are jumping all over the place. This story here. So sometimes it kind of takes you out of the mood. Like, oh, okay, I wish we would have spent a little bit more time here because you're just moving along so well. And I thought the pacing was handled pretty well, but there were some moments where I'm just like, you're just jumping from here. And I wish we could have set a little bit longer with certain stories. But besides those things, guys, again, this is a psychological thriller. The performances are fantastic. Again, Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, and Robert Pattinson were my three MVPs of the film, and then everyone else was just complimentary to the story and did such a great job. Even if they had two scenes, everyone in this movie did such a great job in their role and really embodying their character of this town that just has corruption, greed, a lot of death, a lot of sadness, a lot of regret, a lot of sinister things that go on in this town. But I thought Antonio Campos did a great job of telling this fascinating story, to say the least. So I'm going to give The Devil All the Time a solid 4 out of 5. I don't know if I'll be revisiting this film anytime soon because, again, guys, I warn you, this is dark, this is twisted, this is sinister, it's very bleak, but it's a really well-done thriller film that I recommend you all check out. So when you do check it out, let me know what you thought about it, your pros, your cons. Let me know some of your favorite performances, and let me know all your thoughts of this film in the comments below. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new Netflix TV reviews, movie reviews, other things that we do on this channel. As always, thank you all for watching this review. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.